Hello everyone, I'm Samantha. I'm the mental health nurse practitioner here at CHOTA. As you may know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to be doing a couple of topics this month just to kind of talk about what's going on, talk about mental health. Today I want to talk about breaking the stigma of mental health. You may have heard about that. That's one of the topics this year for Mental Health Awareness Month. And so if you don't know what stigma means something that's socially unacceptable, or it's like a negative stereotype. So we hear a lot about that with mental health, just because it's kind of socially unacceptable to be mentally ill, to have something mentally wrong. But I'm here to tell you that it's very common. 1 in 5 people, or 46.6 million Americans, will have a mental illness per year. So that's a lot, guys. That's your daughters and sisters and cousins and teachers and friends and everyone, guys. So we're going to talk about some ways to break the stigma. Stigma can lead to lots of things like discrimination, people being made fun of. We hear people all the time calling people names if they do have something wrong with them mentally. So it's just not good, guys. So let's talk about some ways that we can fight that. And the first way I have is to talk openly. We're going to make it okay to reach out for help with our mental health. It's so important. Let's talk about it. Let's if somebody's having a bad day, let's say, are you okay? If you know somebody has a history of depression and they're not having a good day, let's say, hey, is there something that I can do to help you today? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our own struggles. Let's talk about how, we need to get help sometimes. We all do. Another way is to educate yourself and others. If you hear a friend that's been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, educate yourself. If you don't know what that is, look it up and see kind of what they're struggling with. That way you can help them. There may be some way that you can reach out to them, that you can help them, or maybe just understand them better. Most of the time, stigma comes from people being uneducated. People don't know what these things are, and it's very important. And I'm not saying you have to go and read an entire book, but just kind of educate yourself. It's really important. And educate others. When you see somebody out and they don't necessarily know and they might be making fun of someone, why don't you just take the time to maybe educate them and say, hey, that's not cool. Let's not do that. Number 3 is conscious of language, and that kind of goes with what I was just talking about. Let's be conscious of what we say. I can't tell you how many times I'll walk in the street and I hear someone say, oh, they're crazy, or oh, they're insane. And those 2 words, guys, are very hurtful and offensive to people who do struggle with mental health disorders. And then self-stigma. People come in here and they say, I'm bipolar. Let's try to switch that and say, I have bipolar disorder, right? Let's be conscious. We don't want to hurt people around us, and we want to really be careful with what we say. The next way is equality with physical health and mental health. You're not going to make fun of someone who has high blood pressure or diabetes or heart disease. They didn't wake up and say, hey, I think that I want to have high blood pressure today. Just like somebody with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia didn't wake up and want that either. They live really challenging lives, and let's make it equal. Just because someone reaches out for help with their mental health is the same as you reaching out for your physical health. It's those 2 are very, very important. Let's also try some compassion and some empowerment. Some of these people are very sick. Some of these people are very shameful. And when they get made fun of, it creates more shame. They're more ashamed of how they feel. They don't want to reach out for help. They don't want to go and get therapy or medications. Or the things that they need. And so let's try to empower them and say, hey, I know you're not feeling good. I've been noticing that you've been kind of down lately. Why don't you reach out? Why don't you reach out for help? Let's empower those people. Let's have compassion. Let's not be mean. Let's not talk to them like they're different. Let's not talk to them like they're less than us. And then, the last way is to seek treatment for yourself and for others, kind of going back to that. We all have a self-stigma as well, and we're in a small town, and it's common to just not talk about these things. each and every one of you probably have someone in your family or have been around someone who, we just don't talk about that. We just don't talk about that, but it's okay. It's okay to talk about that. It's okay to seek treatment if you need treatment. It's very important to not self-stigmatize yourself. If you need help, go and get help. If you know someone that's close to you, encourage them and empower them to go get the help that they need. All of these things are going to help us break the stigma. It's extremely important, guys. This leads to people being bullied and this actually stigma hinders 40% of people to go and seek treatment. 40% of people don't go and get treatment because they're ashamed because of the mental health stigma. So my challenge to you is to go out and try one of these things today. Be brave, be persistent, empower these people, and just be nice. And let's all try to break the stigma. Thanks, guys.